everyone. Today we'll be talking about who needs a financial advisor. One thing I've always wondered, Dustin, is what if you think you don't have enough money for a finance? How much do you need?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people feel like, well, until I'm a millionaire, I can't really afford a financial advisor, and that's just really not the case. I mean, once you've saved, $100, maybe $200,000 in your portfolio, and now that means your 401k or stock portfolio or something you opened at the bank, just any investments that you've accumulated that reach about, let's say, $200,000. Now it's really time to start talking to a professional to find out what else do you need to start doing, or are the things that you're using now still the right tools to get you to your goal? And really that's what's important, is finding out, well, what's your goal, and then talk to someone about how to get you there.
Yeah, until you get to about that level of about 200,000, it could still maybe be good to educate yourself, but it's really, really tough to really make a mistake. Once you get to about $200,000 of liquid assets, though, now it's a new ball game, and now you really need to make sure that you're taking good care of that money and working with the right professionals to help you get to where you want to go.
And when these folks come in, what do you tell them their number one concern should be? Should it be retirement? Should it be income? Well, what is it?
Well, I was going to say, I'm sorry to cut you off there. I mean, number one right now, I've recently read an article that it is once again running out of money.
Yeah.
Is it?
And you would think that the studies used to be, or the surveys used to say that it was dying, or in some cases public speaking.
But now we're worried about running out of money.
Now we're more worried about running out of money than we are passing away. And I think that I think it's kind of good that we're worried about that. Not that it's good to ever worry about anything, but people should be focused on that, because other studies are showing that about 2 out of 3 individuals right now do not have enough money to maintain their standard of living and make it to their full life expectancy.
And we're living a lot longer.
And we're living a lot longer, which is one reason that's causing that problem or that issue. So you have really just 1 out of 3 individuals that right now are going to be properly prepared for retirement. 2 out of 3 are going to struggle at some point in the future.
And what are your clients coming in and asking you about?
Well, I mean, usually it has something to do with that, but a lot of times it's about retirement planning. When can I afford to retire? When should I take Social Security? Or, if they're fortunate enough to have a pension, when should I take the pension? And because generally there's lots of different options with each one of the things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's so important to sit down and talk with someone that deals with these types of things on a daily basis, because different advisors have different skill sets, and depending on their goals would determine what type of advisor they would really want to use.
Melissa, we talk all the time that retirement planning really falls into 2 very distinct phases. You have what we refer to as kind of the accumulation phase, which is when maybe some of our viewers right now are in right now, where they are working and trying to accumulate money and putting money aside each month in the 401k or IRAs, whatever it may be. And then at some point you start to get to this distribution phase, which is the second phase of your retirement planning. And you're thinking about your money and the way you view it, and obviously the investments that you're using really need to start to shift when you're about 5 to 10 years out from retirement. Because as you move into the distribution phase, the purpose of that money, which you're trying to accomplish, is now changing, right? As you're working and you've got 20 years to go to retirement, 30 years to go to retirement, you just want that nest egg to get as large as you possibly can, right? You just want to grow it. As you start to get closer to retirement, you've got this nest egg, however big or small it is. Now what that money needs to accomplish is changing. Now what it needs to do is provide you an income that you can't outlive. It needs to be able to keep up with inflation, maybe have some money left over for heirs and beneficiaries when you pass away. So as you move into your distribution phase, you need a different set of investments and tools in your toolbox that you're using. And in some cases, that means that it's time to maybe work with a different type of advisor, because there's a lot of financial advisors that will help you accumulate your nest egg.
Right.
And that's really important. And there's some that do a great job at that. But as you start to move into retirement, you really need a distribution expert to make sure that you can transition that nest egg into an income that you won't outlive. Make sure you keep your fees low, your taxes low, make sure money's left over for heirs and beneficiaries. And that's really a different set of skills that the advisor would have at that point. Sometimes individuals will try and work with advisors that'll claim that they can really do both sides.
Right.
And the analogy I use for that is it's kind of like going to your general practitioner that you go to for when you have a cold or you have some ailments. But when you need your knee operated on, you probably don't want to go to your general practitioner.
Specialist.
You want to go to a specialist,
Right.
And even though the general practitioner could probably operate on, I mean, they're licensed, right? They could read a book, they may do a few of them a year. That's not who I want operating on my knee, though. I want to go to the person that does, 10 or 12 of them a day for the last 30 years. And that's kind of the work that we do. And a lot of times individuals don't know when they're talking to either their current advisor or a potential advisor, they don't know to ask those types of questions. So that's why we created the guide, the consumer's guide to finding the right advice givers or the right financial professional for you at this particular stage that you're in your life.
Because I think it is very intimidating to people. I mean, this is, it's like, if your home is your biggest investment, you try to find a great real estate broker to get the most money that you can out of your home. And if your nest egg is your biggest asset, then you want to find the right person. But on the landscape, it is intimidating to look out there and see all of these people. So I can find this brochure, this questionnaire on your website?
Yeah, anybody that wants it can go to our website, swdgroup.com, and request it. We're happy to send it out to anybody that's watching the show here today. But in particular, those that are within 10 years of retirement, everybody can benefit from it. But we really wrote it for those that are going to be about 10 years out from retirement or a few years out from retirement. Anybody within that time frame, that's who's going to benefit from getting the guide the most, and we really recommend that they pick it up.
All right, and here it is from Strategic Wealth Designers, a guide to finding a financial professional. If you're 10 years out, if that is you, this is it. If you want more information, you can visit swdgroup.com and stay tuned for more Strategic Wealth with Matt Dickin right after the break.